Good morning, good people. It's your man Cam. Just jumping on here to talk to you guys like I try to do at least every Sunday and maybe once or twice a week to give my thoughts and opinions on what's going on around us. The crime in the communities seems to not be getting any better for the most part. You're hearing gunshots still sounding off every now and again in the distance. But with the leadership that's in the White House right now, it's only gonna get worse. You know how that phrase is, if you got or the statement, if you see a lot of problems at home as a child, typically those children, they go out into the world or whatever have you, and they act out just because they don't have any stability at home. And it's kind of that same idea in reference to this country. There's a whole lot of instability right now in the White House. None of them are stable. All of them are liars. They sit there and lie in order to defend the wrongdoings that's occurring under this presidency, and as well in order to convince the people that believe in these guys and gals to continue to feel that way, even though they're making mistake after mistake. These tariffs are a big mistake. He's destroying ties with the very country that we have the closest connection to, which is Canada. Canada is our closest ally. I mean, they're our neighboring country, but closest ally. We do the most trading with Canada. And why on earth would a so-called leader decide to raise the taxes on this country? Is because he wants to create the tension. He doesn't like Canada. Let's be honest. Let's just look at it for what the situation is, even though he's not saying it. He doesn't like Canada as a country. For him to say that Canada should be a state of the United States means that he doesn't respect Canada as a country. He don't even see them as a country. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, the pure ignorance of this guy and all of the people that believes in him and all the people that follows him and things like that is that the prices of things are going to go up. I mean, it's a fact. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They even said that it is. But yet still want people to trust in the situation that they've created, in which there is no trust there. Because what has to be understood by this so-called leader of the country is that the prices of things are going to go up, but the companies within this country are not going to raise the amount of money that they're paying the people in this country. So when I say let's use common sense, let's look at every scenario. Let's look at every bullet point in this situation, which is, like I say, our pay is not going to go up to counter the fact that everything that we have to purchase is going to go up. In fact, some of these companies may put a freeze on any type of hiring and any type of raises that they would have done or given, because they're going to end up having to pay more depending on what industry that these companies are in because of the tariffs. But yet the people of this country should sit back patiently and wait for this to unfold, because once it's all said and done, according to the so-called leader, everything is going to come out smelling like roses. But we have to be like I said, we have to just look at it for what it is, and the statements that Canada is even making towards this country, about this country. The new prime minister, whatever they call the leader in that country, has come out and said that we are no longer trade partners with the United States. He said this, y'all. Meaning, just like China made their comment about whatever type of war this country is ready for, they're ready and even more prepared than what this country is. It's the same idea with Canada. Canada is just not as blunt about saying these things, but they mean the exact same thing. And like I said, they are our closest allies, or at least once was. But because this country, not we, even though I live in this country, I don't believe in anything that this so-called president is doing and or has done, because everything that he's doing, he's putting into place to, like I said, change the structure of the system of this country. He wants to completely change the structure. He's already had laws passed to where he can't be prosecuted and all this other nonsense that no other president has ever done. He's taking the culture out of this country. And when I say culture, I mean the mixed culture that was once America, that created this country. He's taking that out. He's trying to get rid of Black history. He's trying to get rid of any history that has nothing to do with the white culture and as far as saying positive things about this country. But we have to realize that this country was far from built on positive acts. This country was built on a bunch of negativity, but because we've had people in this country that saw the truth was able to prevail over the ignorance of the people of this country. In which I don't want to get into it because it upsets me when I start talking about how ignorant majority of the laws that once were in place made no sense whatsoever. Just like this so-called president, Donald, makes no sense whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? He makes no sense, just like those laws that were once in place back in the 50s, the 40s, even in the 60s. He makes no sense just like those laws. And why? Because he's a part of that idea. He's a part of those concepts. And we have so much stupidity in all of the communities and so much ignorance that they don't see it. All they see is this funny looking guy with a toupee on his head telling them a bunch of lies. And they believe this nonsense. And then he's got this so-called vice president. I see right through him. I've been around people for way too long. And when I first saw the guy, I knew that this guy he's one of those bulldog type people. Or pit bull minded type people. You get what I'm saying? They're hard to train. And when they're in their ways, they're going to stay in their ways. And all he's going to do is be loyal to this so-called president, no matter what he does and how he goes about doing it. And that's why he decided to go with this guy. This guy doesn't have his own way of thinking like the previous vice president in his first 4 years that he was in office. That guy had a mind of his own, even though you could tell he was a loyal Republican, which to me, Democrat, Republican, independent, I don't care what you are. As long as you had the people's best interest at heart, that's all that matters in the long run. What title you carry means nothing. But because, like I said, there is so much separation in this country, that they use these different ploys and methods in order to keep this country separated. Well, I'm an independent. Well, I'm a Republican. Well, I'm a Democrat. Who cares? You are a person. And if you have any type of compassion towards other people, then you could possibly be a great leader of this country, is what it comes down to. But a lot of these people's minds are so far gone that they don't care. It's all about colors. And like I say, he wants to crack down on the Venezuelan gangs or whatever it is, which personally, I ain't even heard nothing much about no Venezuelan gangs here in the United States. And if they are operating way up underneath the radar to where they're not even being talked about on the local news because they're not out committing as many crimes as the people of this country are committing. People who are birthed and raised here are committing so much crime that the Venezuelan gang, they ain't even on the radar. But yet he enacts some nonsense and he's deporting people left and right behind this act that he put into place because he doesn't want these people here. And it's not just Venezuelans that are being, or Hispanics that are being deported at this point. And we have to realize this. He's sending Canadians back to Canada. He's sending Palestinians in. All walks of life are being cast out of this country because this guy wants to put such a stronghold over this country to the point where, like I've said, and I'm going to continue to say it, to the point where he wants to be a dictator, y'all. And he said it in his first presidency that that's what he wanted to be. And you still have these ignorant people saying, no, that ain't what the case is. Why isn't that not the case? It is the case. It's obvious what he's up to. It's obvious his way of thinking. For him to want to go and conquer Greenland and all these other things. It's obvious what his mindset is. And like I said, personally, I believe that he sat down and got on the phone with China, because one war that this country does not want and cannot afford to have is a war with China. And he did all that negative talk about China in his first presidency. And I'm telling you guys, you hadn't heard anything else in reference to China after China put that statement out about whatever you want to do, we are down for it. We hadn't heard anything else about China. And why? Because he got on the phone and he talked to him. Hey, man, look, we don't want no problems. What do I have to do in order to end this tension between these two countries? I'm telling you, that's what they did. They're not telling us that because he doesn't want to seem like the coward that he is, because literally he's a coward, just like Putin is a coward, just like Kim Jong-un is a coward. Those are cowards. To have people killed and to have your citizens of your country, Kim Jong-un, suffering at the rate that they're suffering at because you want to eat all of the macaroni and cheese and play Nintendo and Sega Genesis all day long and build nuclear weapons and play with them like they're toys. Those are coward moves. They truly are. But this is what the people wanted. And I say it over and over again. This is what the people wanted. They wanted this coward in the White House. And yeah, I'm speaking out against him because I don't like him and I've not ever liked him. I can tell that he's some type of cunning, manipulative type of person. I see it all through him. I hear it in his speech. But that's what people want. They want their egos stroked. And because he strokes the majority of the people's egos in this country, he's got them under his control. But yeah, man, these are some crazy times, and it does not have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way, I should say, because at this point it is this way. And like I say, because he's so much of a coward, he refuses to go back on the things that he's done. He could easily go back and say, you know what, Canada, I don't want to put these tariffs on you guys. Let's end this right now, and let's rebuild this relationship before it gets too far gone and we aren't going to be able to reestablish that same type of relationship that we had. But he's a coward. And like I told you guys, because he did the 25% tariff on cars that are imported and car parts that are imported into this country. He decided to move forward with that idea, thinking that that's going to make this country richer, even though the cost of cars are going to go up $3,000 to $15,000 depending on what brand of car you purchase. Even though car parts are going to go up 50 to 80% or more, because you already pay markup on parts when you need your car fixed. Keep that in mind. I worked in the car business, and the markup on car parts in a lot of cases, from what I had seen working for different establishments, not all of them are the same, or not all of them disclose how much they mark up either. But some parts are marked up 100% or more. And now you have a so-called president that has issued tariffs that's going to cause those car parts to go up even more, to the point where these car companies are going to raise their markup on the parts to where you're paying outrageous numbers already. You're going to be paying even more crazier amounts because of the tariffs. But I say that too because what about China? Because his best friend, Mr. Tesla, he's got his biggest factory over there in China. What, is he just going to stop shipping his cars from China to the United States and just ship them to the other countries? But it's such a conflict of interest in the long run for the so-called president not to like China, but his best friend has his biggest plant in China. Then you implement a 25% tariff on imported cars. Did you implement those tariffs on all of the cars from China? Did you implement that tariff on any of the cars from China? Or just the non-Tesla cars? You hear what I'm saying? If it's a Tesla, it's okay. We're not going to charge you as much to ship the Teslas over here. We're only going to charge a 5% markup. But any other car, come on, y'all. It just doesn't make sense, anything that these people do and say. And for them to sit there and outright say that they knew nothing about this during text, whether it was a top secret information or not, for them to not take any type of responsibility for the mistake that they made shows how weak they are. Because a strong person can tell you that I'm sorry. A strong person can admit to their faults. That's what strong people do, believe it or not. That's not a sign of weakness to tell somebody that you're sorry for something that you did that you knew that you were wrong for. But for you to continue on with life knowing that you were in the wrong and not ever apologize or not ever admit to it, that is a huge sign of weakness. And that's what y'all have in the White House right now, is a weak establishment. And it's so weak that it's literally crumbling right before our eyes. They're making so many mistakes because you have people that have no qualifications to be in certain positions that they hold. And so it's crumbling right before our eyes because of how it was built. If it's not built on steady ground and your house is built on sand, eventually it's going to wash away into the sea. And that's what's going on with Donald and the people that he has around him. They are literally getting washed away right before our very eyes. But just give it time, y'all. It's just going, like I say, either it's going to fall completely. He and his people are going to fall completely on their face, and or they're not going to wake up until we hear the explosions, y'all. Because that's where he's headed. They are so bold. This group of people are, to the point where they are planning to take a trip over to Greenland or Denmark, one of the two. I think it's Greenland actually. And the people of Greenland, even the leadership of Greenland, is telling them not to come to their country. We don't want y'all here if you're coming over here with the mindset that you guys have shown the world that to have, and you're coming over to our country after talking about wanting to conquer and take over our country or our island or whatever it is. That just goes to show you how bold they are. And in certain countries, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to take a flight to the wrong country after saying something like that, and you might not make it back. But because the people of Greenland may not be as evil as the leadership of the United States, because it ain't nothing but Satanism and demons up in the office, that they feel that they are big enough and bad enough to set foot in a place where they're not even wanted. You see what I'm saying, y'all? But that's what I mean by this vice president, that he's a bold character. That's why he voted. That's why he's in the position that he's in. He's bold. And sometimes you can be overly confident in life. And even having some confidence in life can be your destruction. And that's where they're headed to. They really are. And I don't like to wish nothing bad on nobody, but when you're destroying the people of this country's lives, I wish the worst for you, because you got the lives of billions of people in your hands, and majority of people on average in Georgia, and I don't even believe the average, makes about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. That's the average salary in Georgia. When you have these people in the White House who are million and billionaires to where they don't care about anything that happens around it. They don't pay for health care. They don't have to pay for that. There's certain things they don't even have to come out of pocket for. I don't even know if they pay taxes, to be honest with you. And I could care less about that too at the same time. But I'm saying that from a viewpoint of, we have to pay taxes. We have to pay for health care. We have to pay for all these other necessities as well that you're causing to go up because of y'all's ignorance. And because you have a billionaire who has 10 golf courses and who has his little resorts and stuff in different countries, to where he's got residual income, to where he doesn't, an extra $2 to him don't mean anything. But an extra $2 to us means a lot. But hey, this is what we got, y'all. And this is what we dealing with. But I'm going to continue to say my piece. And they can't deport me up out this damn country because I was born downtown Atlanta. I was born in this bitch. And I'm sorry for my language, y'all, but it pisses me off that they're taking these extreme tactics to the point where they want to be like doing Russia. They want to be like North Korea. To the point where if this was to get out and I was in Russia, North Korea, they would come knock down my door and come and arrest me. That's what that cracker, excuse my language, but that's what that idiot in the White House wants. And all the idiots around him believes in that idea and that concept. And that robot, big-headed Tesla guy is no good for this country and no good for the people of this country. But because this idiot has $300 billion, they think that he's the smartest person known to man. And he ain't nothing but a big, egotistical, ignorant idiot. Just like the president and everybody else around him. But forgive me for my anger, y'all. But this is how when ignorance starts to come down on me, y'all, I respond in that type of way. I respond with so much anger because we don't have to be ignorant. We don't have to be stupid. A lot of people choose to be that way. A lot of us know what the truth is. A lot of us know what's right and what's wrong. And we still choose to go down the path of falseness, which is ignorance. And this ignorance is just something that I cannot deal with, y'all. Especially when you have somebody telling you what the truth is and you still decide to fight against what they're telling you. But hey, y'all be safe out there, man. It's your man Cam. I love y'all. And to my Caucasian friends, brothers and sisters out there, when I said the cracker word, that's not for y'all to take offense to that, because sometimes I may even use the N word, knowing that I shouldn't use such language. But when I get upset, certain things come out of not only my mouth, out of y'all's mouths too. And you know it's factual. Some of y'all done used the N word before. And a lot of y'all use the cracker word just like I use, or the nigger word. Let me say it. I know it. I know you do. We all have. And forgive me, like I said, that's nothing towards the white community. I love y'all just like I love the black community and the Hispanic community. I love all of you, Asian, whatever you are. If you're a good person, then I love you. But that's to the ignorant people, y'all. That's to that president and all of the ignorance that's surrounding him. But hey, y'all take it easy out there. Like I said, it's your man Cam, and I'll talk to y'all soon.